The New York Mets are riding a 7-game win streak entering the day today. What a great start to the season they have gotten off to. The NL West has finally started to cool off as the Dodgers have started to seem a little bit more human than originally thought, and injuries have now found some of the best players across Major League Baseball. That and much more, including tonight's power rankings, as we update you guys on the rest of where Major League Baseball stands. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and let's get started. Welcome into the MLB Hot Stove Daily here at the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys joining us late on a Wednesday evening. Hopefully you guys are enjoying some great playoff basketball and hockey. I know I was watching some of the Stars game before we got started here anyway. Hockey is always one of the greatest playoff atmospheres. If you guys get a chance to get to go see it, I highly encourage you guys to get to go do so. Major League Baseball season is currently in full swing. We'll get into the highlights of what we've seen so far during the regular season. We'll check on some of the on the hottest teams out there, as well as some of the teams that are now going through some really serious injury trouble over the last couple of days. But first, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Join us here at the Upside, and be sure to join us whenever we do go live. We'll be joining you guys live in the evenings during the week anyway. Keep you guys apprised of everything that's going on across Major League Baseball. So be sure to follow us here at the Upside on YouTube. Follow us on X at UpsideSN and on Facebook at Upside Sports Network. We'll start with the New York Mets, who've gotten off to a really great start to the season. Currently, let me go ahead and pull up their where they are in the standings for you guys. The Mets right now, after their win tonight anyway, they're 18-7 anyway. They're off to a great start this season. Excited to see where this pitching staff ultimately ends up. I think this offensive lineup is going to be a very good, a really good lineup overall for this team. The question I have is the pitching that they've gotten so far is otherworldly. Look at those runs allowed, only 69. Look at every other team in that division, 115, 127, 116, 104. There's a full 30-plus run difference between them and the next closest team in their own division. And, oh, by the way, they're in the same division with the team that's expected to be one of the best pitching teams in Major League Baseball this year, the Philadelphia Phillies. So we'll have to see where this pitching ultimately ends up. I think they're off to a great start here. I do not expect that pitching to last, and I think they will add reinforcements at the deadline. With that being said, is this pitching enough to get them over the hump until then? And once they do get the pieces at the deadline, are those the right pieces that help them propel them to a World Series championship? So great start for the New York Mets. I know you guys are excited to see where they're going to ultimately end up after bringing in Juan Soto this offseason. I think this could have a big impact on the free agent market next year. If you look at the impact Juan Soto has had for this New York Mets team, who's to go out there and say in this free agent class, this upcoming free agent class, that Kyle Tucker can't do the same thing? Now, obviously, they're two very different players. You're going to view them very differently entering the market as well. But their agent, they're going to point to Juan Soto and say, hey, look, you sign our guy, that can be you next year. Free agency isn't necessarily a thing that only losing teams do, and ultimately it works out to a zero-sum game where maybe you get in the postseason, but you're not ultimately good enough to win a World Series. The days of free agency not being a big, impactful piece of the offseason are gone. Yes, we used to see big free agents change teams, and yes, they made an impact, but very rarely did it result in World Series championships. If the New York Mets are able to pull it off this year, you look at what the Texas Rangers did a couple of years ago, you look at what the Los Angeles Dodgers did last year bringing in Shohei Ohtani, then you look at this year to say the New York Mets ultimately win the World Series. Every single agent is going to be out there touting their top free agent out there as the guy to get you over the hump for a not necessarily a playoff opportunity, but a World Series championship. So something to keep in mind is how the price of poker, while we think it's astronomical now, just wait until the New York Mets, if they do win, just wait until you see those numbers come in after a World Series championship team for the New York Mets this year. Now, of course, that's cart before the horse and all that kind of thing. It's still April. But let's be very real. If that does happen, we could see these prices that we're looking at for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at $500 million, for Juan Soto at $765, at being pennies on the dollar in the next couple of years. It's just the way the money is going in Major League Baseball right now, and I'm very, very curious to see, one, where the Mets finish, how Juan Soto looks in that uniform, and two, where free agency goes as a result, at least in part, because of the Juan Soto contract this past season and the results on the field for the New York Mets this season. Appreciate you guys joining us right now. Got about 15 of you guys with us. Rafe, Master Vinman, thank you guys for joining us once again. Johnny, thank you guys for coming back. Appreciate you guys. Rangers selling? I don't think they're going to be selling. But they are playing in that, the Sacramento A's, I guess you could call it, field. Pretty ballpark, but the wind does seem to carry the ball out there quite a bit, and you're going to see a lot of inflated scores, especially during the summer. We think it's bad now. It's April. Just wait until that summer heats up a little bit, and you're going to see very high-scoring games. We're probably talking 18 to 15 final scores. We're going to be talking about the Oakland, Sacramento pitching staff anyway, as having a 9 ERA and it being palatable for that team because of the ballpark they're going to be playing in. It's going to be hideous to watch baseball there. But until they build a ballpark that actually works for a Major League team there, I don't think Sacramento works as a baseball town for now. Now, of course, a big league team would build a big league style stadium, and I think then the issues that we're seeing right now in a AAA ballpark would go away. But the wind is having a major impact on the ball even now, but just wait until we get it until the summer when the ball is really going to start flying out of there in Sacramento. Cubs won the season series versus the Dodgers tonight. Yes, I did see that. The Cubs, you're going to be very pleased with where we put the Cubs in our power rankings this evening. They're certainly off to a great start to the season. The offense certainly been the piece that's carried this team so far. And we'll have to see what they decide to do again about Justin Steele long term after he is out for the season. Astros swept the Blue Jays. Astros have finally righted the ship a little bit here. I will say that their offense looked a little bit troublesome for the first 2-3 weeks of the season. They've seemed to settle in a little bit here. Pitching staff still doing very well, even with the losses that they've had going into the season. Still lack a little bit of offense in that outfield. Sounds like they're going to be experimenting a little bit with Cam Smith in the outfield. It's a little bit of center, a little bit of right. And just see how it works out there. But we shall see. Rafe, if we don't have Jock, I would really wonder if next season Seager is primary DH and Walcott got his shot. That's a very good chance that happens at this point. I think if Walcott can demonstrate his ability to be ready for Major League Baseball by the end of the year, he could very well push for a roster spot next season. I did find it interesting that the Rangers decided to go with Nick Ahmed as opposed to Jonathan Ornelas or somebody else from the minor leagues to call up in his spot, in Corey Seager's spot, that is. Seager's on the 10-day IL. This is the second injury already this season that he has missed some time for. Remember, the Rangers held him out of a few games to begin the season with a soft tissue injury, and now we are having another stretch of games to be missed here by Corey Seager. They just had got Wyatt Langford back after he missed some time due to a soft tissue injury. Rangers just going through it with some of their best players with injuries right now, and the offense couldn't be more atrocious. They finally woke up yesterday against those A's, and that ballpark certainly helped. They shook up the lineup, and for the first time, I'm really excited to see what this lineup is going to do if they stick to the changes and not just revert back to saying, oh, Marcus Semien finally got an RBI, let's put him back at the number 1 spot. Hey, Jock Peterson might finally get his first hit, let's put him back in the number 3 spot. No. I want to see him stick to the changes that they made yesterday and keep going forward from there. Master Vinman, nice to see you again. Appreciate you joining us once again, Master Vinman. Over 30 pitches this inning for Rocker. He's one of the guys that I'm thinking is going to be on the edge of this roster if and when they do get some of their arms back. Jack Leiter looks like he should have been back 2 starts ago. They've given him 2 rehab starts now. He needs to be at the major league level. They do not need to be wasting those bullets down there at the minor league level or in rehab starts. They need to get this thing on the road. Patrick Corbin had a nice start to the season, but he certainly is showing the ability, or his limitations, if you will. He's there. He's fine for now. He's going to be a good long man out of the bullpen for when you're having a rough game. But I don't think he's going to be in this rotation for the long term. I do think he'll be on this Major League roster guaranteed as the long guy out of the bullpen. But so far, they've gotten nice results out of him. But you kind of saw the wheels fell off the bus at the end of his start last night. I think Bochy was just trying to get him a little further into the game with the schedule that they have coming up. But even still, you knew his limitations going in here. Kumar Rocker, on the other hand, up and down, up and down, up and down. And he just needs to find a little bit more consistency. I think he's pressing a little bit here, and while he certainly is learning a lot at the big league level, I think he'd learn a little bit more down at the AAA level, getting that dominance back, learning a little bit, refining his craft, and then calling up again, say in June, if another injury happens or whatever the case may be. But to me, this is an opportunity for Kumar Rocker to go out there today and at least solve some of the issues that he's had. But it is a tough ballpark to pitch in, and especially for a guy who's had difficulty with command at times this season. I'm not expecting a good start for Kumar Rocker today. Kurtz, his first Major League hit, 3-0 A's. Yeah, it's a small ballpark. Rangers need to pick up J.D. Martinez now. I don't think that'll happen. I do think that they will add somebody offensively if Jock Peterson continues to play this poorly, but I do not expect them to make a J.D. Martinez add at this point. Thank you, Steven. Welcome back. Appreciate you. You were at the Mets game today. Soto is struggling, but his defense is excellent. Well, everybody worried about his defense originally, but as far as the long term of it, we knew for now he'd at least be serviceable. And curious to see how this Mets team continues to go with Soto as the linchpin of this lineup, along with Francisco Lindor. 39 pitch first inning for Rocker, 4-0. Yikes. Let's go ahead and check on the scoreboard. Refresh the page here. Yep. Yikes. And J.P. Sears, for some reason, just has the Rangers number. It just seems every time I watch J.P. Sears pitch against the Rangers, he's always doing well. All right. Let's see here. Master Midman, Cubs can't keep bailing out this bullpen. Although there were incredible games recently, the relievers are killing me. Well, we kind of knew that going in. I can't say that. We thought the bullpen would be better with Presley and a couple of the other additions that they made back there. Quickly, we were proven wrong. And so we knew the offense was going to have to carry things with the question marks we had about their starting pitching and in the bullpen. And they haven't necessarily addressed the needs that they have in that bullpen yet. Robertson is still out there, and I'd love to see them do something along those lines, but we'll see if they ultimately pony up the money to be able to get something done there. All right. Let's check in on some of the standings around Major League Baseball since the last time we were with you guys anyway. Yankees have rattled off 7 of their last 10 anyway. Same thing with the Red Sox. Cream rising to the top there. Meanwhile, the Toronto Blue Jays seem like to have worn off their early season luck here. The extension of getting Vlad Guerrero done has seemed to have worn off. The the hue of it all, if you will. Orioles, though, continue to struggle. They've lost 3 straight now. They're 5 games back in the division, which is a good thing for them, but come on. We're 9-14. Let's get rolling there in Baltimore. Tampa Bay, we knew they were going to be around 500 at best this season, and they're 3-7 in their last 10. Seems like they've fallen on a little bit of a rough patch for now. Tigers still continue to lead the AL Central. Not much to report here other than the designation of Tristan McKenzie for the Guardians there. He has over an 11 ERA. He just hasn't had it this year. I'm curious to see, who and what team ultimately claims him, because I do think he will be claimed with the needs of starting pitching across Major League Baseball. I do think he has something left to provide. I just think the Guardians had run their time a little bit short here with Tristan McKenzie and decided to go with some of their other arms as well. Royals off to a little bit of a rough start for me. I thought they'd be a little bit better than where they are now, but they've won 2 straight. They're 3-7 in their last 10, so at least they seem to be coming out of their tailspin here. But 10-14, not exactly where I expected this team to begin the season. Twins, 8-15 to begin the year. I thought that this was a better team on paper than they would be by the record book, and it seems like we are perfectly correct on that one. And White Sox continue to struggle to find ways to win games. The Texas Rangers, after losing 2 of 3 to the Dodgers in a well-pitched series, offense was non-existent in that weekend series, ultimately still lead the AL West 14-9, 5-5 in their last 10. Mariners have picked things up a little bit with a little bit lighter of a schedule anyway than what the Rangers and Astros had to contend with. Meanwhile, they're going to be going up against the Boston Red Sox. We'll see how this thing goes for the Mariners, but I think the Mariners are in a good spot right now. Their offense certainly is performing better than I expected. Their pitching is not quite as good as I expected, though, so I'm expecting regression in both of those areas. Positive regression for their pitching staff, a little bit negative for their offense. Houston, as I mentioned, their offense is starting to come around, and with them only being 2 games back, this Astros team could very well win the division after the struggles they've had early. They could somehow manage to get above the Rangers here relatively quickly, with the Rangers continuing to struggle offensively. Angels, their fairy tale is officially over. 3-7 in their last 10. They're back to 500, and the A's at 10-13. On the NL side, the Mets, of course, 7-game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10, 18-7 overall. But their pitching has been the story for them. Philly, they just need to get their pitching right, and I think they'll be better. Marlins, their fairy tale start has seemed to have run its course a little bit here. 11-13, though, is very respectable. Nationals have seemed to catch a little bit of fire here, rising to 11-13. Same thing with the Atlanta Braves. Bottom of the division starting to pick it up there in the NL East. NL Central, Cubs, the offense is really what's carrying them right now. 163 runs is the story for the Cubs. Brewers are getting some up and down performances from that pitching staff, Quintana, etc. We'll have to see if that pitching staff can kind of stabilize. Meanwhile, the Reds, kind of a Mickey Mouse team, if you will. One day they're, not Mickey Mouse, Jekyll and Hyde was the analogy I'm looking for. One day it looks like they're the best team in baseball, great pitching, great offense, but they can never seem to put it together in the same game, however. The next game, completely different results. It speaks to a very young roster, a very young team. With Terry Francona at the helm here, I wonder if he, as the course of the season unfolds, can start to get this team to play with a little bit better consistency on both sides of the ball. We thought the Cardinals' start to the season was a little bit of a fluke, and it was. We still expect them to trade Arenado and Helsley at some point, but 10-15 to start the season, 3-7 in their last 10. Looks like the start to the season was just that, a little bit of a mirage. Pirates, meanwhile, 9-15, can't hit their way out of wet paper bag right now. Their pitching isn't as good as advertised, and it's going to be a rough season for the Pirates fans. Hopefully they're happy with the Paul Skeens bobblehead that they lined up for the other day, because other than that, Pittsburgh looks like it's going to be in for a very long, long season. NL West, that got off to that great start, that had 4 teams that looked like they were all the best in baseball, certainly has come back to the pack anyway over the past week. Padres 17-8, Dodgers 16-9, Giants 15-9, Diamondbacks 14-9. All of them playing around 500 baseball, with the Diamondbacks playing a little bit better as of late than where they started. Meanwhile, the Rockies, of course, the seller of the entire baseball world. But I'm curious to see where the Diamondbacks ultimately end up, because it seems like their offense is starting to pick it up, and their pitching is finally starting to work the way they need it to. All right, try to catch up on a few of these comments here. Rafe Rocker got unlucky. Some soft hits between infield and outfield, though, to be fair. True, but that's baseball as well. You heard the Braves got McKenzie. I have not heard that yet, but I can check on that here shortly. Kurtz made his first error, tripped on Astros, always struggle early. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that do get out of the gates a little bit slower. The Rangers, at times, have had difficulty getting out of the gates offensively. I remember when they played the Philadelphia Phillies a couple of years ago, their offense came out like gangbusters and then fell off a cliff immediately thereafter. Let's see here. You're happy for the Cubs, to be honest. Same here. Pete Crow Armstrong could play in any era. I'll agree with you on that one. His speed does translate to everything. PCA is going to steal 50 bags this year. I think that might be underselling it, honestly. Rafe, NL West is going to be the best division for the next decade? I don't think so. I think the Dodgers might be the best team of the next decade with the talent that they have, but they're going to have to continue to spend because some of those contracts are going to age poorly. Which ones, we don't know, but eventually they're going to have to figure out, do they have more money to go out there and add for the pieces that aren't working for them? I think they will, but I think they will be the team of the decade. Do I think they're going to be the division of the decade? If you're counting on the Rockies to be there, I wouldn't necessarily put it there. I think the Padres are going to be one of those middle-of-the-road teams. Are they a wild card team? Are they not year in and year out? I think the Giants are going to have a nice press forward here for the next couple of years, and then depending on how that press forward goes with their payroll, if it's good enough, they could be around in the playoffs for the next 10 years. If it's not, they could fall on their face and go through another rebuild phase. But I'd say the Dodgers are probably the safest bet in baseball right now with the finances that they have at their disposal to at least be a competitive team. Rockies are not going to be a force in the NL West for a period of time here. They need to figure out what they're going to do as an organization to develop talent a little bit better. Until they do so, I don't think they're going to be able to be anybody's factor in that division. All right. Let's go ahead and check out a couple of the headlines anyway. I wanted to get into some of the injuries that we've seen over the past week or so. We'll start with the Texas Rangers and Corey Seager going down to a hamstring tightness, if you will. Rangers being ultimately very cautious, but as they are with Corey Seager, he runs 85% unless he needs to go all out during a game anyway. They already treat him with kid gloves when he is on the field. So it's concerning to me that they're already having to put him on the IL with his second injury this year, his first time on the IL overall. But a lot of concern here for me. Another soft tissue injury. Is this going to be the theme for his career? I'm not saying that they need to move him off a shortstop because he did it when he was running to first base, I believe. But he's not exactly the prototypical shortstop. He's a little bit bigger, a little bit lankier, a lot more power in that bat as far as a shortstop goes, which is incredibly valuable at that position. He still fields his position very well, but I wonder, like you were commenting earlier, about a Sebastian Walcott, who looks like he could be a 15, 20-year franchise superstar level player at that position. Josh Smith is available to handle the position right now. You have Duran who can handle it in a pinch. You have Ornelas who can come up and be a nice defender there as well. They have the pieces right now to where they don't have to force him to be in the field. There has been some discussion among fans, of course, of moving him off a shortstop, moving him over to first base or a DH spot. I wouldn't necessarily rule that out in the future. I think it's a little bit premature, but the soft tissue injuries, each of the last 3-4 years now for him, are concerning to me. And I just wonder if there's something that they can do a little bit better to mitigate that risk, stretching regimen, whatever the case may be. They need to get him on the field because he is the force in that lineup, especially with Marcus Semien struggling here the last couple of years to begin the season and throughout the entirety of last year. I have my questions about the money going forward on Semien's contract. Jock Peterson's contract looks like a dud right now. The trade for Jake Berger, well, it's had some decent power numbers, hasn't really provided much else. He has been a little bit better, obviously, than Jock Peterson, but that's a very, very, very low bar to be setting here. I would like to see them do a little bit more here and be able to maximize the talent that they have on the field and keep their guys healthy and avoid these soft tissue injuries that they're having. Speaking of injuries, we saw Blake Snell that was getting close to coming back for the Los Angeles Dodgers, ultimately has been shut down to kind of allow him to heal up a little bit more. It looks like they pushed him a little too fast, and so he'll be out for a little bit longer here. Padres are without 4 of their lefty bats in their lineup, so the lineup is all kinds of messed up right now. Merrill, Arise, Hayward, and Cronenworth are all on the injured list right now, and they're making do, don't get me wrong, but that's kind of why you see the Padres cool off over the past week or so. But appreciate you guys joining us. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into our power rankings here in just a moment. Johnny, looks like true number one. Let's see. You think your Rangers will be doing just fine while he's on the DL? I think he'll be fine. They'll be fine as well. Hunter Brown is making an early case for Cy Young. Kumar Rocker is proving he's a big league pitcher. I think Kumar Rocker is learning how to pitch at the big league level. I'll agree with you on that one. Hunter Brown is certainly doing very well to start the year. I'm excited to see if he continues to do so. And if he does, what does that mean for Valdez going into free agency? Do the Astros once again say, hey, this is our price for Valdez, we aren't going over it, and so he leaves in free agency? Or do they decide to go ahead and go with a 1-2 punch at the top of their rotation with Brown and Valdez? Yanks are 7-3 over their last 10 thanks to the Rays, but they lost 2 of 3 to the Guardians, 4 starters hitting under 200. Don't look at the Rangers. They're in a very similar boat as far as that last number you mentioned there. But as far as the Yankees here, I don't think anybody expected them with the injuries coming into the year to have them at number 1 here in that division. Without Juan Soto leaving before the season, without Giancarlo Stanton, without Luis Gil, without Garrett Cole, sure, you add Bellinger, you add Williams, you add Fried. Those are some nice pieces here, but you're talking about the core of your pitching staff with Garrett Cole going down and your Rookie of the Year guy and Luis Gil. And yet they're still able to manage to score enough runs here, and the offense has been the story for them. Good on the Yankees for doing what they've done so far, but I wonder when the Cinderella story for them starts to grind to a little bit of a halt as well. Brown looks unshakable. I would agree. He's been looking very good. I still want to see it for the entirety of the season. I don't think he's a guy that's doesn't have the talent. I think I just want to see him do it day in, day out for an entire year if I'm at the Astros front office to prove that he's our true number 1. Because if he is, I can save the money on Valdez, which is what they ultimately always end up doing, and decide to sign a couple of other guys at smaller level contracts and just try to make do from there. It's what they've done every single time one of their top free agents goes to the market. They don't pay market prices, and so I think they're hoping Hunter Brown ultimately ponies up or gets ready and becomes that ace that they're looking for. All right, let's go ahead and get into our power rankings for this week. Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at the power rankings, where they sat last week, and kind of adjust from there. Last week, obviously, we had a new number 1 with the Padres taking over the top spot. Dodgers still at 2. The number 3 team was the Giants, rising all the way up there. Number 4 was the Texas Rangers. Diamondbacks were 5, Yankees 6, Mets 7, Phillies 8, Cubs 9, and Blue Jays were in that 10 spot. Safe to say there's going to be some changes in that top 10. But let's go ahead and start down at the very bottom of these rankings and kind of go from there. Obviously, for me, the Rockies are very easily the worst team in baseball right now, and I think they consistently have been. White Sox, though, are right there with them. No, nothing to really discuss on either one of those two. Nationals had a nice week anyway. They will be bumping up here a little bit. For me, though, the Pirates and the Twins, you got to put them pretty much neck and neck with each other as some of the most disappointing teams in the league right now. Pirates are going to go down to 28 here. I'm going to go ahead and put the Twins as that 2017. I think that the Nationals have outplayed them. And I think the Braves have certainly outplayed them. The A's have had their troubles. But let's go ahead and pull up the standings once again, just to kind of show you guys what we're talking about here. Rockies only 4 wins. They're the worst team in baseball. Pirates, they're the 3rd worst team in baseball with only 9 wins. You look at the Twins, they only have 8, and the White Sox, those are 5. I don't think it's fairly controversial for where those teams are ranked right now. If you guys want to send me a message, I'd love to see if you guys have a more convincing argument to move them up. I certainly do not. All right. Rays have certainly fallen on tough times. They'll be going down in my rankings this week. 3-7 in their last 10. Yes, they're getting to a difficult opponent anyway with the Diamondbacks, but that'll be reflected in their number. But we'll get into those here in just a moment. Kumar Rocker might get through 3. Going to be a bullpen day, it seems. It does. Mets have to be number 1. We shall see. Stick around to the end of the video, and we will take a look. Let's go ahead and update our scoreboard just to see where these numbers are at tonight. Pirates are winning at the Angels 2-0. Rays have come back a little bit. They're now down 3-2 against the Diamondbacks. Brewers, Giants still scoreless. Rangers still couldn't hit anything. Eesh. Kumar Rocker's having a rough day. 7 hits already, though. He's not going to go very long in that start anyway. All right, games that have now gone final. Braves win. Tigers win. Mets. Reds. Nationals beat the Orioles. Yee. Mariners over the Red Sox. Yanks over the Guardians. No surprise there. Guardians continue to struggle offensively, but are still have a winning record. Speaks to the depth of their pitching staff that they have, even with Tristan McKenzie going away. Cubs winning the season series against the Dodgers, as you mentioned, with the help of a 3-run fourth and a 4-run fifth. Good on them. And Boyd continuing to impress. That contract I had questions about, but he's certainly been worth every penny so far. A 2.54 ERA. Very good job by the Cubs and what they've gotten out of him so far. Astros were able to pull it off against the Blue Jays, 3-1 victory there. Twins win their 9th game of the season over the White Sox 6-3, and the Royals game was postponed. All right. Let's see here. We know that the Nationals are going up. How far do we move them up is the question. Cardinals, I think, have struggled once again. I think they're going to go down in this area as well. All right. So Cardinals, I'm going to drop all the way down here to 26. Do I elevate the Nationals to 25? Or do I put the Rays at 25? I think the Nationals have gotten a nice few games here, but I'm not going to elevate them that high. Nationals are going to go here. Braves have certainly turned things around a little bit. Do I put the Braves above the Rays? I think I do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the Rays down at 24. I'm going to put the Braves a step above them. Royals got to be right in this mix along with the Orioles. I don't think I can put the Royals any higher after the struggles they've had so far, though. Although I am forgetting the A's as well. I think I'm going to put the A's for now right there. Royals, Orioles, do I put the Marlins? I think I should put the Marlins in between there, though. Actually, I'm going to do Marlins, Braves, Athletics, Rays, Orioles, Angels, I think. Let me check the Reds, make sure I'm not losing my mind here. 5-5. Run scoring not an issue. Pitching has been better. I'll give them credit for that. I'll give them credit for that. So, Reds go one spot above the Angels for now. All right. Guardians are moving up in this. How high do we put them? Is the question. Any other team that needs to fall dramatically? Just to see if anybody else needs to fall here. Philadelphia a little bit. 4 straight losses. They got the Cubbies coming up too. It's going to be a tough series for them with their pitching issues that they're having right now. Mariners offense is certainly coming around. Astros is coming around. Let me look at the Guardians, make sure I'm not missing something. Yeah, it's their offense that's really struggling for them. A negative run differential, and they've still won 4 more than they've lost. Let's see here. I don't think I can elevate the Guardians much higher than where I have them. Because I just don't believe in this Guardians team to be able to hit their way out. So we'll put them up a little bit here. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Looks like just the Mariners so far. Okay. Now, the teams that are going to fall just a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, when Jacob Latz is in there, he's in there to soak up innings. It's not going to be a pretty night for the Rangers. So if you guys are a Ranger fan, you might want to tune out the game for today anyway. Let's see here. I do think the Mariners are better than the Brewers. I think they're close to the Tigers. Blue Jays are going to drop a little bit here. Phillies are going to drop a little bit here. But I don't think they fall that far. Brewers, I think only drop 1 spot. Makes sense. Mariners rise a couple. I think the Tigers are fairly accurately spotted in here, though. Blue Jays could be the team that drops this far, though. Do I put the Blue Jays here? Or the Tigers? 6-4. Pitching has been good. Offense best in the division, which they're going to win their division, I think. But their offense, I do think, will come back down a little. Their expected win-loss record is better than their actual as well. I'll give them credit for that. What about the Blue Jays here? Their expected is 10-14. Offense has not been great. Yeah, I'll agree with you there, Steven. But to me, those bottom dwellers sometimes we want to see where they're coming, and where we don't just want to all of a sudden have one of those bottom dwellers come up into the top 15. That's why the bottom 15 are always a little bit faster than the top ones, usually for me. But I'm going to go ahead and put the Blue Jays at 13. Phillies, I'm thinking about dropping here as well, because their pitching has been no-show, and they got a tough series coming up. So I think I'll do that. I think the Tigers easily elevate here above the Phillies for now. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Astros, I think, elevate as well. Red Sox. This is where things get very, very close. Because all these teams are fairly interchangeable from here on in. All right. So the teams we have left, Red Sox, Astros to go into this mix. Cubs are certainly going up. Mets are certainly going up. Diamondbacks, to me, are going up as well. Do I put the Astros and then the Red Sox? I think so. So I'll move up the Astros back into the top 10. First time since the beginning of April. Red Sox also, for the first time in a while, since the first week of the season, move back into the top 10. All right. For me, the Giants are going to drop a little bit here. The Rangers are going to drop a little bit here, even though they still lead their division. Cubs are certainly going up. How high, I don't know yet. Do the Giants drop back down to 8? Let me look at their week. 5-5. Run scoring is good. Pitching is good. They're playing Milwaukee. They're still 15-9. The Cubs have the hardest schedule for April. LA, Padres, Arizona, Texas, Phillies. Is that a factor? It is. Schedule both played and upcoming is a factor in my power rankings as well. Okay. I think I'm putting the Giants down just a little bit here. This isn't a, hey, the Giants are going down 5. It's just that they're so close with all these other teams. I just don't see them playing head-to-head and winning over the teams above them here. So remember I said the Rangers were going to drop a little bit. This is where I think they're going to go. It's because that offense continuing to have its issues is the only reason why they're dropping outside of the top 5. If their offense gets going with Corey Seager going in the IL, we'll see how they're once they get their health back and once their offense gets going for the first time this season. That being said, they're now out of the top 5 for me. All right. So for the first time, a different team in the American League is going to be above them in the power rankings for now. I think the Yankees are pretty close to being right where they are right now. And I think that's where I'm going to put them. I think the Yankees stay neutral at 6. This might be where the Cubs go. For me, the contenders for number 1, Padres, Dodgers, Mets, and Cubs. Those are your contenders for 1. So that would mean your 5 is still the Diamondbacks. Cubbies, the pitching is the only thing that worries me. So I think that's the one thing that's going to rule them out as number 1 for me. So I think I got to put them 4 because of the pitching. So that leaves the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Padres as 1, 2, or 3. Looking at the 2 NL West teams, Dodgers just haven't played quite like the Dodgers yet. They have it in them, yes. Padres have played really well, but they're injury riddled right now. I think I'll still give the edge to the Padres for now. I think the Cubs deserve at worst 3. Forgot about Steele though. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Even if they had Steele, I'd still have questions about their bullpen and still their starting pitching. Steele going down only magnifies those issues for me. All right, so the top 3, I think the Dodgers. Where do I put the Mets in this conversation? I think the Padres are over the Dodgers still. The Mets, that pitching staff has done so well, and the offense hasn't been quite as good as advertised yet, but still doing enough to get the job done. And it's not a fluke. What is that? The least runs allowed in the game so far? 69? Yep, least allowed runs. Padres are 2. So pitching does win, I will say that. Okay, so do the Mets go all the way from 7 to number 1 this week with that win streak? If they played each other right now, I'd say with the injuries the Padres have, the Mets would win the series. With that being said, I'd say the Mets get the 1 spot. I don't like being that much of a fluctuation on our rankings, but I think they've earned it with what they've done so far. And then the Dodgers fall to 3 for the first time this season. There we go. Top 10 this week: Mets 1, Padres 2, Dodgers 3, Cubs 4, D-backs 5. Yankees, Rangers, Giants, Red Sox, and Astros 6 through 10. Mets just lost Diaz too. That could be a factor for them as well. I'm not convinced that the Mets are for real. Me neither, but I will say that their body of work so far shows that they're for real so far. I do think this pitching will eventually wear down. I do think they will still add pitching at the deadline. The question is, can the pitching hold out until then? Is a bigger question for them. If I were to kind of predict where this thing is going next week, though, Padres probably drop a little bit next week based off of their injuries. I think they'll start to drop a couple more games. Rangers, I think, are going to be relatively in the same spot. Mets with the Diaz, if your Diaz is an injury that he's going to miss time for, they could certainly fall from 1 down to 3 or 4 again. The Cubs, if their pitching starts to figure things out, they could rise a spot, maybe 2. But if their offense starts to falter, they could really be one of the teams that falls fastest out of that group. The Giants could be for an even bigger fall next week if they continue to look mediocre like they have the past week. Phillies could be one of the biggest risers if they get that pitching staff to start to perform. Same thing for the Red Sox, same thing for the Astros. So that would be kind of the movement I'm looking for in the next week, is just to see how injuries affect these teams, how they respond, and if their offense or pitching starts to improve or continue to have issues. Alrighty, appreciate you guys joining us. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. We'll be live again tomorrow night. We'll be back. I appreciate you guys bearing with us anyway. Decided to go on a vacation, impromptu anyway, with the family over Easter weekend anyway. So just getting back in and so forth, having some fun with you guys tonight. And looking forward to the NFL draft tomorrow. We'll probably do our live late in the evening after the first round of the draft, I believe. I think the first round's tomorrow anyway. But we'll be doing that after the first round. So bear with us as we'll have a late start tomorrow night. If you guys are new here, be sure to hit that like on the video. The thumbs up really does go a long way. Hit that subscribe. Follow us on X at Upside Ascent if you want to be notified when we go live. And on Facebook at Upside Sports Network. Alrighty, you guys have a great evening out there. Stay safe, everybody. And we'll see you guys late tomorrow night.